Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently working on our invasion of Spain, or rather a precursor to our invasion of Spain. Now currently we are fighting for naval supremacy out here in the Western Mediterranean, and we're a ways away from getting that, but I think that we'll get there eventually just due to sheer numbers here, and we're also working on improving our navy eventually. So that'll be reasonably fine. But we do definitely have things ongoing here. No doubt about that. So we're going to work on taking this over, and we're going to have to do a little bit of an island hopping campaign here. So we're going to take over this set of islands first, so these two right here. Then we're going to take this island, and then that's going to need a naval base built on it. It's going to be mildly awkward, but that's okay. And then we'll launch a naval invasion also from here, somewhere out into Spain. The question is, where, right? Where do we think we can get away with attacking? I suspect that it's going to be very difficult for us to make a beachhead in Spain. We'll see how that ends up working, but for now, that is the assumption. So this armored division is done. We'll toss that in over here. That is absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever there. And these guys are currently a ways away from finishing their invasion. That's fine. We're probably going to end up splitting this force in half and doing our invasion here and somewhere else simultaneously is likely what's going to end up happening. Now, the French Commune, I don't think we have, like, the ability to enter it. Yeah, we don't have any military access here, and they're not going to give it to us, which isn't shocking, necessarily. What do we have going on here, actually? Improved heavy batteries and small caliber armor piercing shell have finished up. Okay, so these battles are definitely, they're just disengaging, but sure, that seems absolutely fine. I want to check in on how we're doing here. 71.9%. That is progressing nicely. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to continue to work on these researches. We're going to grab the advanced light battery here, and that'll be absolutely fine. I also want to work on the super heavy armor piercing shell. And that'll be fine too. So we'll get going on that. We're working almost exclusively at this point on our naval researches. Obviously, Navy is something that is going to be important to us. That said, if we were hypothetically at war with everyone, which would be bad, but if we were hypothetically at war with everyone, we do have toeholds on every continent or ways to get there via land. The only major exception would be down over here. That would be potentially problematic for us, but I mean, a navy will be helpful, no doubt about that. So let's continue to work on the advanced medium battery for right now. That'll be fine. And we do have free military factories, which somewhat startles me. Only one, but we do have it. Interesting. I'm currently thinking about tossing that into additional modern tank chassis. We still need 5,638 of these. So I'm thinking that we should probably throw more into producing T-54s. So we're going to currently toss 15 into that. Of course, we don't have 15, but we're going to get going on that. So that's fine. All of that is looking absolutely okay. How are we doing on our constructions? Okay, so this is going reasonably fine. I would like to take a quick look on how anti-air is doing over here. Okay, we definitely need to build some anti-air over in Ukraine, and I want to get that done right now. Remember, we have no air force at all right now. We do have a navy, but we have literally no air force. So being able to have some sort of anti-air will be helpful for us, in that it'll make it more difficult for the enemy to establish air superiority over us. It won't make it impossible, but it'll make it more costly for them. And that's okay. So we're going to get going on that, and we're working on quite a number of things simultaneously right now. Yes, indeed. Okay, so that all looks fine. We're going to continue constructing for a good long time there. Beautiful. So now the question is, how long do we have here? Well, we have about 50 days. 50 days as of now. And that's absolutely great. This is an armored division that'll hop into this army, although that's not going to be doing anything just yet. Once we've taken these islands, we definitely want to use that as a staging point. How are we doing navally out over here at this point? 62.3? Okay, that looks reasonable. Now, I have enabled automatic reinforcement and automatic split-off of this fleet here. So if we look at the task force composition editor, we can see currently 2 destroyers are split off. They went to go get repairs, and they will be back. So that's absolutely fine. We're going to continue to toss additional ships into that as we can. But for now, we just want to make sure that we maintain control over this area, and that is indeed exactly the goal. So the Western Mediterranean is where the primary combat is happening right now. No doubt about that. We're spotting enemy navies out over here, and we have this naval battle going on here. Okay, so they've got, like, close air support there. Noted. So this is an infantry division, and this obviously should hop into that army. There we go. We're getting close to having this infantry army group full. And I'm thinking that we should probably reduce our infantry recruitments. I'm going to bring it down to 3 units of infantry being recruited right now. So that'll be absolutely fine. We're still going to want to recruit infantry, but I'm going to reduce our infantry recruitments for the time being. This is additional infantry divisions here, 4 of them, and these are all correct divisions. So these 4 are going to hop in here, and with those completions, yeah, we definitely want to reduce this down. So at this point, we need to grab improved dual-purpose battery. That'll be fine. We'll continue to work on that. Excellent. And some of these upgrades, not all of them, but some of these upgrades are in fact going to be helping us in our combats out over here. What'll really be helping us, though, is when we start producing actual real ships as opposed to the fake ones that we have right now. That would be a very helpful thing. So super heavy armor piercing shell has finished up. And of course, that means that our aircraft are now fully researched. And that's very nice. So next, I'm going to continue to work on our naval support here. We'll grab the advanced medium dual-purpose battery. And we'll also work on the advanced heavy battery. So that'll all be fine. We're mostly working on batteries here, and these are not really going to help us yet. That's fine. You are going to hop into our Asia Guard. And, of course, our general aircraft manufacturer can grab naval aircraft specialists. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do at this moment is I'm going to begin construction of a bunch of military factories. So anywhere that is not currently maxed out, I want to max out with military factories. These factories are first and foremost going to go towards tank production, but then after our tank production is where we want it to be, which is not probably where it's set right now. But after we have that where we want it to be, then the idea is after that going to be that we're going to use our... Wow, this sentence got very confusing. We're going to use our excess capacity after that for aircraft production. Okay, that's what we want to say. So that's absolutely okay. And we're going to have to start, you know, creating aircraft at some point. And I want to just have air superiority fighters at this point. I don't actually care about utilizing air superiority as much as I care about acquiring it right now. So that is the overall goal at this point, and once we have air superiority acquired, then we can think about perhaps utilization of it through things like bombers. But just having air superiority is a big deal. Okay, so just down over here, there's a little bit that we can queue up. Right up over here, right here. That looks good. And then up this way. Yes. Yes. Excellent. Something along the lines of that for our military factories. So we've queued up a lot. We can't queue up more here, and we can't queue up more here. And I don't believe we can queue up more here either. No. That is, I believe, everything. Nope. We can queue up 3 in Taiwan. Now I believe that that's everything. Okay. So that's all fine, and we're going to put 15 of these into service working on producing these tanks. I am not planning on throwing more than 15 into this right now. We are producing a lot of tanks. As it is, 41.42. We need more tanks, though. No doubt about that. But I do want to get to work producing aircraft very, very soon. So that is the current mission there. These guys are getting close to being prepared for their invasion. 65% naval supremacy. So if these guys have to go repair, then it's very likely that we'll have the naval supremacy to launch this attack. That's the idea, anyway. So advanced ship torpedo launchers have finished up. That's fine. We're still working through our naval support here, and we've not really started working on our quote-unquote real Navy researches. So that's okay. We're going to grab, say, the homing torpedo for now, and we'll spend some naval experience to get that done quicker. That's fine. We are working on getting caught up on our naval research as of right now, which we very much abandoned. No doubt about that. Now, I do want to start thinking about production of an aircraft, and I'd like that to be a modern, small airframe. So I want this to be an air superiority fighter, right? And that would mean basically fighter weapons. So we want anything that would increase air superiority or just air attack. We don't want to worry about ground attack. So what is the highest air attack that we have here? I'm seeing 24 for air attack. Okay, so we could do 2x large cannons or 2x cannon 2s. The large cannons and the cannon 2s have the same air attack, the same ground attack, the same production cost, but the large cannons are just bulkier and bigger. The 2 cannon 2s are, in my opinion, just better here. So we'll take that. That's absolutely fine, and this is absolutely going to be in the fighter role. So for our secondary weapon, we're not interested in naval bomber weapons or even close air support weapons at this point. A recon camera would add in basically just a little bit of weight. Okay, so we probably want additional fighter weapons, and we could definitely bump up with additional 2 cannon 2s. We could also potentially go with like some light machine guns or something like that. Let's see what happens with the 2 engine 2s. We might have too much weight, but we'll see. So we can continue firing cannons. This is way too many cannons. I'm almost certain of that. This slot is not available, but this is a huge amount of air attack. No doubt about that. We don't have a huge amount of air defense, but none of these are defensive here. So special features, we could definitely toss in like defensive turrets. The best air defense would be the cannon defense turret. Now our max speed is going to be reduced a little bit. We probably do want to go to like jet engines. 2 jet engines here. That's going to massively decrease our range. I'm okay with having a relatively short range on this for right now. This will be a lot of additional max speed, that said. So 1 jet engine would still be minus 40% range. Rocket engines are, of course, not great for range. Engine 4s are an interesting option here. They increase our max speed almost as much as the jet engines do. Almost. Without that range penalty. I kind of like this. So engine 4s, something like that. And our weight is currently 39, which is, you know, not necessarily ideal. Now, we currently have the defense turrets. We might not want that. We might want to have air-to-air radar. So air-to-air radar 2. Minus 40% night penalty. That's probably really good here. We could also take radar navigation, but that's generally better for bombers. So anti-air radar, we'll take that. And a special module we could bring in here, like, for example, drop tanks to have additional range. But I feel like we could also go with extra fuel tanks, which would actually be a little bit less weight and more range. It would reduce our air defense to have the extra fuel tanks. We can go with self-sealing fuel tanks, though, and I'm going to do that. So self-sealing fuel tanks will bump up our air defense. We can also go with extra fuel here, and the self-sealing fuel tanks will offset that air defense, so that's absolutely fine. Beyond that, we can go for air defense here. So the highest air defense would end up being the cannon defense turret. So these are reasonably fast. The range is very, very wide. And we have very solid reasonable air defense, I think. And very solid air attack, right? Incredibly solid air attack. The idea behind this is that this is not intended to be anything but air superiority, right? We're supposed to just intercept enemies and shoot them down. That's the idea here. We've only got 1 air superiority here because of the modern small airframe, but that is fine. We're just looking to shoot down enemy planes. That is it. That's the only thing we want from this. So I'm going to save that, and we're going to start producing these MiG-9s. There we go. And I do want to toss this in here. We're only going to put one factory on it right now. Apparently we have 2,000 of these in reserves. That's strange. We must have captured some modern airframes from someone who capitulated. Well, we did capture some airframes, but I wouldn't have expected that. So the idea here is once we take this, we are going to start, we're going to start having our airframes fly out of here. We're going to build an airbase there. Now, we could currently fly out of... Does the Ottoman Empire not have an airbase? Okay. I wonder if we'd have range to fly from Kuban. That feels like it's a long ways away. But we can add in... Where are these? Show only fighters. So these are what we have in stock. Okay, so these are not exactly what we want. These are interwar fighters. Their range is going to be very, very short. So we're going to need to wait until we actually produce some planes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss in, if we go into our production, I'm going to toss in one factory working on planes. Then I'm going to move the modern tank chassis like this, and then I'm going to put the modern small airframes to be more along the lines of that. Okay, something like this-ish. We're not going to be producing many modern small airframes yet, but I do want to have some form of Air Force under production. So we do have a number of smaller planes. If we take this over before our modern planes come online, we can start utilizing those smaller planes and eliminating them from our reserves. And that would be a good thing to do. So that'll be absolutely fine. These guys are going to launch their attack in about 10 days here. So that, well, maybe. They're going to be able to launch their attack in 10 days. The naval supremacy here is actually pretty decent, though. So we could probably pull this off. Okay, so we're just waiting for another 6 days. We'll see if the naval supremacy is still good by the time we're prepared. That may or may not end up being the case. So at this point, we are producing a lot of military factories. No doubt about that. I want to know how long this list really is. Okay, it is pretty long, this list of military factories. So we'll definitely want to work our way through that. Cool. That seems good. At this point, we have this armored division, which can get sorted in here. And in terms of our actual production of tanks, we are doing okay. We're definitely doing okay. It's not great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to prioritize the modern small airframe over the modern tank chassis, at least until that has a few factories working on it. Just having one factory working on it is not going to be very effective, right? So that's okay. I'm going to send these guys into this army, and they should be absolutely fine there. We also have a research slot available for our Navy, and we can grab the electric torpedo. There we go. That'll be fine. And are these guys going to be launching? Have they launched? Yes, they have launched. Okay, so we're going to see if we manage to get this territory or not with this attack. In we go. The advanced medium battery research has finished, and we are going to grab separate fire mains. So we'll research that. We don't have the naval experience to actually boost that, but that's okay. So we can see there's a number of units here. But we are currently winning this engagement. Okay, now we're losing it. Okay. So if we do end up losing this engagement, that's reasonably okay. We'll see what ends up happening with this, though. I do kind of expect this to be difficult for us to break in. That is definitely expected. We don't have any Marines, and that would be, you know, pretty useful. We're also currently, like, if we look at our naval supremacy out over here, we're not having these guys, like, escort our units in, right? So this isn't super shocking. I just wanted to know what kind of strength they had here. We can also think about attacking here instead. Either of these would work as a base. This would be a more useful base, but either of them would be okay. So we do have this unassigned Mountaineer division, and that'll go out over here. I just want to check through here that there are no Marines. Confirmed. There are no Marine divisions there. I didn't think there were. And yeah, we're definitely falling back here. They have a lot of troops stationed here. So that's okay. We're definitely going to end up losing this attack. But I'm fine with losing that attack. This is mostly a probing attack at this point. Okay, this is a Mountaineer division. That is fine. So yes, this is definitely going to be lost. They have a strong defensive force here. That is noted. We can work on blockading them. I'm wondering, have they basically given up this Navy engagement? They have not. Okay, so that is noted. And yeah, I'm not super shocked about this one. However, I haven't seen anyone here. So to that end, we're just letting this battle play out. We could tell them to retreat, I think. But what we would end up doing here, really, is... Where are these guys retreating to? What is this retreat path? Okay, so, they're retreating to Sweden via the most awkward route possible. Why are they doing this? Okay, I'm going to delete this order, and I'm going to tell these guys, or some amount of them anyway, let's tell all of them for now, to launch a naval invasion from here again, but this time to here. Hopefully they'll turn around and start heading up over this way. Are they actually doing it? I'm not sure that they are. I don't think we can order them to do anything differently either. So that's going to be really awkward. Are they actually working on preparing this? Okay, they are working on preparing this. So as long as they arrive here before that's done, that's not the end of the world. But we might lose some units with that really awkward retreat path. That is the weirdest retreat path I have ever seen in my life. I have no idea why they wouldn't just go through the Dardanelles and Bosporus and end up over here in our territory. That is bizarre. But okay, they are taking the most awkward path possible. Sure. Well, we've got these divisions here. This is an infantry division. This is not one of our infantry divisions. This is not one of ours either. Okay, there we go. And then this is an armored division, which should be one of ours. And that's now 2 completed armies there. Now, one thing we could consider doing is a naval invasion with an armored division. And that could be interesting, actually. So if we were to do that, we would do a naval invasion order from about here over to here. And can we actually do this with enough divisions? Looks like all of these guys are being ordered to do it. Okay, so that's good to know. We'll get that started, and we're going to initiate that as soon as we can. These guys are going to initiate not really as soon as they can, actually. We're going to wait to see what ends up happening with this really awkward retreat. Okay, so this is an armored division here. This needs to be a new army, and that's absolutely fine. We'll need to promote in a new field commander. Actually, wait a second. We've got this guy. Okay, that'll do. We've got a research slot available. In fact, we've got 2, and I'm going to grab ladder shooting here. We'll research that. And what else do we need to grab here? Well, we could work on our mine warfare here a bit. This is all about mine laying. We haven't really been mine laying, but mine avoidance would be pretty good. So we'll continue to head on through there. Looks great. And we do have a military-industrial organization thing that we can grab here. Mass production. We would actually end up needing to grab... Yeah, we can't actually get this, I don't think. No, we can. Okay, that seems fine then. Okay, I do want to hop into here and make sure that our modern tank chassis is as upgraded as it can get. There are no traits applicable. Okay, I want to double check that with our MiG-9. No traits applicable. Okay, good to know. So the MiG-9 is being produced at the rate currently of about 2.6 per week. We have about 14 factories working on that. I'm going to move this down now and prioritize putting our finishing touches onto this modern tank chassis. Now, we currently are lacking some rubber. 17 rubber, to be precise. Okay, so we could build synthetic refineries, but of course, we filled up all of these areas with factories. So there is that. We don't have any building slots for it. Lacking rubber is definitely a little bit surprising here. We could trade for it. And that's probably not the worst idea in the world. So that would be like Peru, Bolivia. And we do something kind of like that. That will slow down our construction a little bit, but I'm okay with it. So this is a Mountaineer division that can hop out over here. This guy's going to lose some efficiency from that, but it's okay. I'm not too concerned about it. They are like an early response thing. If anybody invades us over there, we'll give them new orders anyway. So that seems absolutely fine. And these naval invasions are being worked on. I want to check in on our naval status over here. Okay. It's still broadly fine. So another Mountaineer division, that's okay. And we did, of course, finish up another technology here. Let's work on torpedo tube mine deployment for the time being, and just continue to work our way through these technologies as quickly as we can. Now, I want to check in on where these guys actually are. Okay, they have a long ways to go, but there's still a lot of time before this invasion preparation is done. So that's reasonably okay. We're going to launch an invasion out over here with some tanks. And we would like to get some aircraft going. We do have some modern aircraft now. So what I want to know is, if we were to come out over to this airbase, and we were to toss in some of our modern fighters, which we now have some of anyway, we're going to do something like that. And I'd like to change the numbering on these. Well, this is currently 100. Hang on. We might have to do it... How do we do this again? Use current and outdated designs to reinforce the air wing. That is exactly what I want, actually. There are no ace pilots here, and 13 fighters are transferring over. Okay, my question is, what's their range? Okay, this range is not a useful range. That's good to know, and now that we know that, they've arrived here. And it's interesting that we can't actually do this. To change reinforcement rule, reorganize the air wing. Okay. How do we do that again? Like this? I've forgotten how we do this. I was under the impression it was click here. Maybe they changed it, or maybe I misremember. Okay, for now, this isn't really very relevant, right? I do want to pull these fighters out of here. So I don't actually want to have these here, but this range is not a very useful one. And actually, this is because we have the lower quality fighters here, right? So that's okay. We have 100 fighters here currently with medium replacement priority. I have completely forgotten how to do this. We could add in a new air wing, and that's like this. And then that doesn't actually like disband the air wing. That deselects the air wing. Right. Interesting. We don't appear to be able to do anything there, but we can disband both of these air wings like this. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to disband those air wings. These guys are going to disband as well. There we go. Because it's not useful for us to have them here. We need a forward airbase in order for that to be a useful thing. So this division can hop over here, that's fine, but it is time to put a cut in here. And we do have a technology to grab here, and I'm going to grab modern ship torpedo launchers. And with that, it is time to put that cut in, as I just said. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.